Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Thank goodness we're finally done with Phase 4. Now I can finally look forward to the MCU redeeming themselves in Phase 5. Well, this is fine. This is supposed to be in Phase 4 anyway. I mean, I'm sure it'll get better from here. Okay. Well, this is just a little setback. No need to worry.
Oh God, why?
Well, boys, here we are. One film into Phase 5 and our hearts still filled with the existential dread, knowing that we may not be out of the woods yet. We were told that Quantumania was going to be...
Of all of our films we've done since Endgame, this is the one that connects to the bigger picture.
Yeah, okay, that isn't a high bar. Since then, we've had Guy with Daddy Issues. Hey, isn't that Jon Snow? Wow, they really waited until after she died to give her own movie. And who can forget Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of... Budget Limitations. Let's be honest here. If anything, No Way Home was the most impactful movie since Endgame, since it was the one that started the real rift in the multiverse, and gave closure to multiple universes Spider-Man, wrapping up a 20-year franchise, as well as giving the recognition to previously panned, now loved, Andrew Garfield. Instead of starting Phase 5 off with a bang, they decided, you know what, let's go all in on the little guy. What could go wrong? Plus, we have Kang in this one, with his first real appearance. Let's build on this. Make Kang the face of basically every other MCU property moving forward. What could go wrong? Oh no. I am not sold so far, based off of Quantumania's performance, as well as previous Disney Plus shows, that Marvel will make a massive course correction in their next phase. Let's take a look at some of the projects they have coming up and decide for ourselves if we really think they can pull this thing off, as well as give a score for my overall hype level for these properties. We'll also see if you can pull off leaving a like on this video. Do it. First up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the final send-off to James Gunn's career at Marvel. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this property has had some serious diminishing returns since we first saw Peter Quill dance his way into the Infinity Stone heist of 2014. All of the marketing we've been getting for this film is seriously painting it in an Empire Strikes Back kind of vibe, with things ending in a worse spot for our favorite team of intergalactic misfits. I know there's no way Gunn could have tanked this film. It's not like the studio fired him, brought him back to finish the trilogy, and then he left to be the figurehead of the comic publisher's biggest rival. Oh wait, that actually did just happen. But seriously, I feel like all of the actors and creative team put everything they had into this film, since it would be the last one for many of them in the MCU. Just based on the marketing, I'm giving this a pre-review of 7 out of 10. Now onto the first Disney Plus show of the slate, Secret Invasion. The series is going to bring back Nick Fury, as well as Maria Hill, who we haven't seen since the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. From the trailer, we can see that the series is going to be more in the vein of Winter Soldier, by being an espionage thriller where you won't know who you can trust, or even if you can trust yourself. We can see clearly that the Nick Fury in the trailer is far older and more grizzled than the one we've been following in the main MCU for all these years. I think the main question on everyone's mind, how long have we been following Talos acting as Nick Fury? We know that the Skrull first arrived in the 90s, with the film that shall not be named. But the implication of that film was that most of them went off on their own. This looks like it's head and shoulders above the other Disney Plus shows we have gotten recently. And I'm pre-reviewing this one at 8 out of 10. Up next is The Marvels. What else do you want me to say? Pre-review is a 3 out of 10 just because I think it's funny Brie Larson got benched in her own sequel. At some point, we're also getting Echo on Disney Plus. I want to meet the person who pitched the idea to Kevin Feige and ask them why they thought this show would work. TV isn't only a visual medium, but a huge part of it is sound and dialogue. They're taking half of that away with their main character because Echo is deaf and mute. Good luck having this show on while you're doing laundry. Look away for a second and you'll miss critical subtitles that set up conflict for the rest of the show. You'll be more confused than Grandpa trying to find his way off stage. Based off the fact that we're going to be seeing Echo meet Daredevil at some point, I have to give this a 1 out of 10. Having a blind man and a deaf woman in a scene together is probably the best idea I've ever heard. And before anybody says it, yes, I know she can use ASL in his hand, and he'd be able to communicate that way. Sure, whatever. But how boring would it be to watch a 30-minute episode like this? Loki Season 2 is also coming out this year, and based on the post-credit scene of Quantumania, it looks like we're going to be seeing more Kang variants in the show. There have been a lot of leaks coming out about this show in particular, and I won't go into them just in case anyone doesn't want to get spoiled. But based off of the power of pure speculation, I think it's safe to say that we'll be getting even more Kangs in this show. The biggest question I have about Loki Season 2 at the moment is how are they going to get Mobius to divert from his path with Loki and go after Wade and Logan in Deadpool 3? It's already confirmed that Owen Wilson will be reprising his role in that film. And since we're in the multiverse saga, it's safe to assume that Deadpool and Wolverine will be hopping timelines and causing incidental chaos throughout the multiverse. But is that a big enough threat to divert the TVA from whatever they're doing in Loki to now track down our favorite Fox Universe characters? Pre-rating, 6 out of 10. A film that has the potential to be the first real horror project in the MCU. I can't wait to see how good the script is for the film. Oh. Well, at least we have the chance to see how good the movie is going to be with Basim Tariq directing. Oh, come on! How many times are we going to do this? Okay guys, seriously, this is getting out of hand. At this point, the only thing we know for sure about the movie is that Mahershala Ali is in it. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. Pre-review is 5 Taika Waititi vampires out of 10. Wow, looks like nothing else is coming out for a little bit. Nothing else. Nothing else. Finally, some quality content. I've been waiting for more Daredevil in the MCU since I read about the leaks of Matt Murdock showing up in No Way Home. Now that we have Kingpin in the MCU, and we saw Daredevil in his classic yellow costume in She-Hulk, I feel like everything is finally coming together and melding aspects of the Netflix shows with the MCU proper. Daredevil is one of the best characters Marvel has in my eyes. The fact that he tries to be a hero not only with his crime fighting, but also in his 9-to-5 shows how much he really cares about helping people. Plus, he has some great villains in his rogues gallery. Seriously, he has Kingpin, Bullseye, Stiltman. Yeah, that's right, one of his enemies is a dude who wears adamantium-covered overalls with extendable legs and just tries to drop him to his death. The pinnacle of character design that no one has come close to touching in 60 years. With Charlie Cox coming back to play Daredevil, many of us were wondering if that means that John Barenthal's Punisher will come to the MCU as well. I really hope so, and I hope that we see him in Daredevil Born Again. This is going to be different from the source material though, since Karen Page is reportedly not in the show. Since there's no Karen, that kind of takes away the plot point where she sells Matt's secret identity for drugs. The name is more likely given due to the dual meaning of having Daredevil be born again with his arrival on Disney+. Anyway, it doesn't matter, I'm hyped for this and my pre-rating is a strong 9 out of 10. Captain America New World Order is currently filming as of the writing of this script, and is the only project I am actively keeping myself away from. I love the first 3 Captain America movies, and from the little that I've heard of this one's story, it will be right up there in terms of quality and cameos. This will be Sam Wilson's first theatrical run as Cap, and I think they really have to do him justice. Just like with Superman, I think this is a chance to use the character to reinstall core American values that Captain America was based on. I don't want them to be heavy-handed, but I do want Marvel to really focus on what it means to be patriotic and love the country that he literally uses in his name. We won't only be getting Cap in this movie, as Bucky is also going to be returning. Shockingly, Liv Tyler is returning as Betsy Ross after all these years, as well as a ton of other Avengers. Kind of feel like this is getting set up to be Avengers 4.5, but I'm on board. I know that the leader is going to be billed as the main villain, and we're getting Tim Blake Nelson coming back in the role. I want more ties with the Hulk in this film, and hopefully we'll see some Red Hulk action now that Harrison Ford is coming in as Thunderbolt Ross. I want to see some footage of this film to tide me over until the movie is officially released, so pre-rating is a solid 8.5 out of 10. Finally, closing out Phase 5, we have the Thunderbolts. When they were first announced at D23 by showing a mock-up of the cast, I felt like we were getting the Great Value brand Avengers.
Dad, can we get Black Widow?
No, Timmy, we have Black Widow at home. But since that first look, a lot has changed. Mostly, they now have Thunderbolt Ross in the film. Now we can really start working on this discount team by throwing a Hulk in for good measure. In all seriousness, this is a smart move, because we've been asking for a Red Hulk to show up in the MCU for years. Now that we technically have Scar and have She-Hulk in the MCU, it's time that we get a no-nonsense rage monster like we had before. From what we know, the plot of the film is as follows. Elaine got jealous of Jerry and all his shiny cool Avengers toys, so she went down to Dollar General and wrangled up her own bootleg toys because that's all they had in stock. The movie looks like it could be promising, but it's giving off some serious West Coast Avengers vibes. Free rating, 4.5 great values out of 10. Obviously, all of these reviews are based off of my personal excitement for the projects. Once these projects are out, I will be re-reviewing them and giving them an honest critique, so stay tuned for those. It's taken thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of man-hours to make these movies and shows, so let's all acknowledge the work they have to put into these projects. But at the same time, remember that these are all coming from the same company that spent around $300 million, and the best they could come up with was...
And it confirms the worst. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like and share this out, as it really does help. If you want to see more from me, then click here to see the characters that I think we'll be seeing in the second chapter of the DCU, or here, where I discuss how I think we could get Venom in Avengers Secret Wars. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.